Coming up on Mountain News this morning, federal prosecutors resign over the investigation into last week's deadly ICE shooting. We have the latest on the growing immigration crackdown in Minneapolis. And a House bill has been introduced for the 5th year in a row. Why legislators say it's important to keep Kentucky's National Guard at home in the Commonwealth.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Welcome to Mountain News This Morning. I'm Caroline Mueller here with you on this Wednesday, January 14th. We are inching up on that 5 o'clock hour, so let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Megan Desmel for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, I think I got a little ahead of myself as far as the forecast goes. I was bracing myself for the cold this morning, stepped out, and it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, the warmest temperatures of the day are early on. Yes, there's going to be a dramatic change in that forecast, though, so you will need to still bring that winter coat, because by the time you're heading back home, well, those temperatures will be a lot colder than they are now. So let's break down that forecast as that cold front does approach. Already starting to see the rain making its way into the region for many of our northwestern folks. But in terms of what we'll expect throughout the next couple hours, well, that rain will turn into a wintry mix. And by the time we're heading into the late evening, snow chances. And with that, we're under that winter weather advisory as we're heading into portions of Pike County, Letcher County, Harlan County, Kentucky, and Wise County, Virginia. In terms of temperatures, though, another thing we're looking at, not bad at all. Mixture of the upper 40s and low 50s, but it's going to get cold quick, dropping down to those 30s by the time we head into 6 p.m. Caroline.
Thanks, Megan. Exactly 1 week after an ICE agent fatally shot a woman in Minneapolis, CBS News has learned several federal prosecutors have resigned in protest over the investigation. President Trump is weighing in on the deadly shooting as tensions continue to spike across the nation. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest.
Federal officers deployed flashbangs and smoke in Minneapolis after another day of tense protest, nearly a week after an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Good. President Trump, in a one-on-one with CBS News, spoke about the 37-year-old woman.
I would bet you that she, under normal circumstances, was a very solid, wonderful person, but her actions were pretty tough.
An act of domestic terrorism, according to the Trump administration. Now, sources tell CBS News several career federal prosecutors in D.C. have resigned over the handling of the case. Half a dozen Minneapolis federal prosecutors have also left the job. The New York Times reporting they resigned because of senior DOJ officials pushing for a criminal investigation into Good's widow.
I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy.
Seen here moments before the officer fired the fatal rounds. As ICE continues its operations in Minnesota, a chorus of whistles and car horns echo through the streets of Minneapolis, a sign notifying people federal agents are in the area.
Don't want more deployment here. They are only here to separate families, to terrorize our neighbors.
The state of Minnesota is now suing the Department of Homeland Security, claiming the deployment endangers the public safety and has provoked protests. DHS has sent thousands of agents to the Minneapolis area.
Despite rioters, agitators, and vast amounts of violence against federal officers, we're not going to stop.
Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino called it an open-ended mission. Jared Hill, CBS News.
The Trump administration is terminating Somalia's temporary protected status program, putting roughly 2,500 Somali immigrants at risk of deportation. Minnesota has the nation's largest Somali population. Today, top White House officials are set to host representatives from Denmark and Greenland as President Trump intensifies his push to acquire Greenland. Ahead of the meeting, Greenland's prime minister says he prefers Denmark and the European Union to the U.S. It comes after President Trump was in Michigan to tout his economic agenda. While there, he had a wide-ranging exclusive interview with CBS News, during which he warned the U.S. could take, quote, very strong action against Iran if the country decides to hang anti-government protesters.
To all Iranian patriots, keep protesting. If they do such a thing, we will take very strong action.
Sources inside the country tell CBS News thousands could be dead from the government's violent crackdown on protests. Nearly 50 serious acts of anti-Semitism have taken place across Kentucky in 2025, according to the Kentucky Jewish Council's annual anti-Semitism report. Rabbi Shlomo Litvin says there were fewer acts of anti-Semitism in Kentucky last year than there were in 2024, but that's not the case worldwide. The council's main concerns for 2026 are curbing anti-Semitic situations in education, calling on local print media outlets to not elevate hate speech, and addressing radical political viewpoints in our communities.
So many of the evil ideologies that America fights against on a daily basis. It is not limited to right or left. It is not limited to a religious group or a socioeconomic standing. Immorality is found everywhere, and as such, anti-Semitism is found everywhere.
Litvin says these ideas are spreading through younger and younger groups in the Commonwealth, so he encourages parents to check in with their kids and learn what kind of media they're consuming. A Kentucky House bill would restrict the use of the Kentucky National Guard in foreign combat unless Congress officially declares war. Kentucky House Bill 81, also known as the Defend the Guard Act, is a bill that's been introduced every legislative session since 2021. Introduced again this session, it's sponsored by Republican Representatives T.J. Roberts and Candy Massaroni. They say the goal is to keep Kentucky's National Guard here in the Commonwealth unless a war has been officially declared by Congress. Roberts says he believes the National Guard should be addressing national security within the United States instead of in foreign combat.
I want them to focus on America. I want to put America first. And the foreign policy consensus that we have had with this focus on global governance, it's not the mission of the National Guard.
The bill also says the Guard can be called in if needed to repel an invasion or to suppress an insurrection in the country. It also wouldn't stop the governor from deploying the National Guard outside the state to help with civil authority missions such as natural disaster or for border protection if an invasion has been declared. The state's Education Association says safety concerns are a barrier for teacher retention. That's why a new bill on the Senate floor aims to increase safety for staff. The legislation includes language that would introduce mandatory reporting and student expulsion for an assault against a teacher or staff. If passed, students would be expelled for a minimum of 12 months for physically injuring someone. It would also decrease the age a student can be tried as an adult for assault from 16 to 14.
They play a critical role in our communities and our Commonwealth, educating our children. And so if we want to recruit and retain the best and brightest teachers, to do that, they better feel safe at work.
The Kentucky Education Association reported 25,000 assaults on school staff since the 2021 school year. Thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Coming up, a recent increase in cases involving children being contacted online has deputies encouraging parents to be cautious.
And we are tracking first alert weather days from now all the way up until Monday.